Yeah,
It must be.
Yeah, because it really is.
By the way, it's like. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Good evening. This meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority will come to order. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Chair Cole,
Here.
Vice Chair Levere,
Present.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Here.
Authority Member Day, Authority Member Schock,
Here.
Authority Member Webb, Authority Member Winsack.
Here.
Will you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. The next item is approval of the agenda. I will say, so item 5, is it 5A? Okay, so 5B, there's a difference in the DBA, which I guess technically appears on the agenda, so we would modify the agenda that item 5B, the DBA is Exxon number 28 rather than Shell. Can I'll go ahead and move that we approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item is certification of the minutes from our June 13th meeting. Did anyone have changes or additions? If not, is there a motion?
I move to approve the minutes for the June 13th, 2018 regular meeting of the Littleton Licensing Authority.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda is public comment. Is there anyone here who would like to address the authority on a matter that is not on the agenda for the evening? Nope. Okay. The next item is 5A, Resolution 15, 2018, to approve a liquor license application for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc., doing business as Shell number 147, 8020 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado. Is there a representative of the applicant here this evening?
Yes.
Come on up and go ahead and, why don't you go ahead and lean into the mic here and introduce yourself, and we'll get started. Just make sure you're speaking into the microphone because that's our record.
Excuse me, Chair, did we want to introduce 5B as well, since we're going to hear them at the same time?
Why don't you introduce, are you representing the applicant?
That's correct.
Okay, so why don't you introduce yourself so that we know that you have the authority to answer whether or not you're okay to group them together. So,
my name is Christopher Carr. Registration number is 32239 with the law firm of Dill, Carr, Stoneberger, and Hutchings, here on behalf of Suncor Energy Sales Incorporated, the applicant for both 5A and 5B.
okay, good evening, Mr. Carr. As I believe the clerk chatted ahead of time, since a lot of the material will be the same, would you like to present the overview on behalf of both applicants, and then we can ask questions as to the specifics?
We
would that be?
We would prefer that. That's okay with the authority. We have the same representative from Suncor here, the same petitioning person as well, so I think we can streamline it a little bit instead of having you have to hear everything twice.
Okay, so then just to make clear, I'll note that we are now proceeding on both item 5A and 5B on our agenda. 5A is Resolution 15, 2018 for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc., doing business as Shell number 147 at 8020 South Broadway. And then item 5B is Resolution 16, 2018 to approve a liquor license application for Suncor Energy Sales, doing business as Exxon number 28 at 6556 South Broadway. Is that all correct?
It is correct.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and proceed as you'd like. If you'd like to give an overview, you're welcome to do that. Anyone, you're welcome to call any representatives. Actually, why don't we go ahead and, why don't both of you come up and introduce yourselves, and I'll swear you in unless you are attorneys.
Good evening. Oh, sorry. My name is Eva Gerritsen. I'm with Liquor Licensing Professionals doing business as Liquor Pros, and we're the survey company. So last name is Garretson.
All right, Ms. Garrison, just stay right there for a moment. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this authority is truthful?
I do.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Christopher Grauer. I'm the Retail Operations Manager for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc.
Okay, Mr. Grauer, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give before this authority is truthful?
I do.
Great, thank you very much. Mr. Carr, if you want to, like I said, just proceed, and if at any point you would like to call either of them, that's fine.
Sure. Just a brief opening. We're here asking for 3-2 beer licenses for 2 convenience stores. And if it works, I'd like to call Eva Gerritsen first so that she can be excused and be on her way since she's got a longer drive than anyone else afterwards.
Sure, absolutely. And come on, Ms. Garrison, come on up here. You can either stand on the other side here, Mr. Carr, and just move the microphone if you'd like, but so long as we can hear both your questions and her answers.
Perfect. Ms. Gerritsen, can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
You bet. Eva Gerritsen, once again, is Garretson.
And Ms. Gerritsen, what do you do for a living?
Hold on, real quick, sorry. I gotta make sure that the microphone's picking. So just when you ask questions, will you just pull the microphone over to you?
Sure.
Yeah, and then just hand it back to her when she answers. Thank you.
Ms. Gerritsen, what do you do for a living?
I own Liquor Licensing Professionals. We're a professional survey company throughout the entire state of Colorado. We do both liquor and marijuana surveys for the entire state of Colorado. We are also a responsible vendor trainer listed under the Department of Revenue for the state of Colorado.
And regarding the 2 applications that are here pending today, did you perform surveys for those?
Yes, we did.
Can you please explain briefly for the authority what you did?
So our process is prior to the start of the survey, circulators are briefed on the type of liquor license that is being applied for. We visit each location so that we can also reference to residents and business owners and managers in the area, in the designated area, as to where the license is going to be applied for. We also make sure that we go over any factual information that may be relayed to the residents. We don't guarantee results for our clients. We simply provide the survey, and whatever we get for the authority, we turn in as is. We then send them out with both a business and residential petition sheet. That includes the front sheet that has the hearing information, preface, the license type, information, anything of that, explaining what the petition is all about. We ask them to read that thoroughly. We also then have signature sheets on the back that have name, address, any of that information, and whether they're in favor or not in favor of this particular license in this area. We then ask them to complete it. If they do sign no, we also have areas in the petition sheet where we ask them specifically to write in why they are opposed to this license so that we may provide more information back to the authority as to why they're opposing this license. They petition within the survey area. Once they're done, they have tally sheets that they go through. We add up and calculate. We then report this back to the authority, turn in a report with the petitions, and have the affidavits notarized.
And can you just briefly explain what your results were after doing this survey for these 2 applications?
Yes, sir. For, I believe now it is Exxon number 28 at 6556 South Broadway. We conducted this particular survey on dates of Thursday, June 14th and Saturday, June 16th. We had 4 circulators for this one. We made attempted contacts with 556 residents and business owners in this area. We made actual contact with 220 of those. We then obtained a total of 152 signatures. 56 signatures were from business owners or managers. 47 signed in favor at 84%. 9 were opposed at 16%. 96 residents also signed this petition, with 86 signing in favor at 90% and 10 opposed at 10%. If we consider or combine the results, it ended up being 133 that signed in favor at 88% and 19 were opposed at 13%. Given these results, for the because we've been doing 3-2 licenses throughout the state, quite a few. This is actually on the high end of approval rates for approval in favor of this particular license. The results for Shell 147 on 8020 South Broadway. This one, we did 505 attempted contacts of business and residents, making actual contact with 225 of those. We then obtained a total of 149 signatures, 58 business signatures, 51 signed in favor at 88%, and 7 were opposed at 12%. There were also 91 residential signatures, which 84 signed in favor at 90%, and only 7 were opposed at 8%. If we combine our totals, this one ended up being 135 that signed in favor at 91%, and 14 were opposed at 9%. Once again, this one is actually on the higher end for this particular type of license. That shows that this is favorable, in our opinion, that this is still a favorable result for this particular type of license.
I have no further questions for Ms. Garrettson. I don't know if the authority has any questions for Ms. Garrettson.
Does anyone have any questions about the petitions?
Just one thing I wanted to note was, did you just say that there was a place on the petitions for people?
You know what? I did. And actually, this one we didn't because we used the petitions that we had prior to the ones before. So in this particular one, as I was thinking about that, going back through the results, you are correct. We actually did not have a place for them to sign why they were signing no. So I do correct myself in that one. That's why we went ahead and qualified all no signatures as valid reasons as such. So I do apologize, but thank you for that one.
Any other questions?
None here.
Okay,
I'd ask that Ms. Garrettson be excused.
that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, folks.
Good
have a
evening.
one.
Next, I'd call Mr. Grauer.
Good evening again.
Sir, can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Christopher Grauer, Grauer.
And Mr. Grauer, what do you do for a living?
I'm the Retail Operations Manager for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc.
And how long have you been with Suncor Energy Sales?
I've been with Suncor for 5 years now.
And have you been in that same position the whole time?
No, prior to that, I was a Retail Territory Manager where I oversaw 22 of the stores, Littleton being my previous area, and now I oversee all 44 in overall operations, marketing, and merchandising.
Okay. And is that a basic explanation of what your job is?
Yes,
You're here today asking for a 3-2 beer license, is that correct?
yes, sir.
And why do you want that license?
We want a license because it's a piece of our business that's currently not at our stores now, and we want to bring that in, and we anticipate, the upcoming beer laws changing.
And what are these stores?
So these are what we call pacesetters. They're small convenience stores, 800 square feet. They're underneath a large canopy. They have, everything from coffee to snacks, candy, 6 doors in what we call the cold vault or the cooler, where we sell energy drinks, Cokes and smokes, as we call it, gas, car wash.
And do you have prior experience in the sale and service of alcohol?
Yes, sir. For the 16 years prior to working with Suncor Energy, I worked for a restaurant and brewery company out of Colorado named Rock Bottom, and I was last with them a general manager at the Centerra location in Loveland.
And as you had that job, did you have any special training or experience with serving alcohol?
Yes, sir. I was a ServSafe certified instructor for responsible liquor handling and selling.
And while working there, did you have any liquor violations?
No, I did not.
Let's talk about the stores here that we have applications pending for. If this license were to be granted, what would be the policy or procedure for carding people at your stores?
We have what we call a zero harm policy, and that's actually posted and has been posted in our windows. Anybody can drive by and see them. Our intention is to be good stewards in our community, and we card everyone in any age-sensitive product, including alcohol and tobacco.
And will your employees be trained in the proper sale of alcohol?
Yes, all employees are to be trained, tip certified within the first 60 days of hire.
And Suncor Sales, do they currently have liquor licenses?
Yes, we've got 44 stores total within the state of Colorado. We have 33 liquor licenses currently.
And do those 33 licenses operate the same that these two will if these licenses are granted?
Yes, that is correct.
And of those 33 stores, have there been any liquor violations?
Yes, there has.
And how many?
There has been one.
And that's in the 5-year period that you've been there?
That is correct.
What else do you do to ensure that your employees are following the law?
So we actually have, we employ the bars company, which does a compliance, twice a month at alcohol and tobacco compliance shops. So they go in, and it's an internal sting, for lack of a better word. They go in and they try to purchase tobacco and/or alcohol. If the cashier IDs them, then they're given a green card. If they don't, then they're given a red card. Red cards could result in, reprimands and/or termination.
Do you have a policy regarding vertical IDs for the sale of alcohol?
We do not accept vertical IDs in the sale of alcohol.
As a percent of sales, what do you anticipate these stores will have, alcohol being a percent of their sales?
This is probably the smallest category that we have currently for all our stores. It represents 0.25 of all of our sales. It's a fraction. It's very minuscule in the grand scheme of things for what we sell. Tobacco is our largest category.
And with such small sales, why do you think there's a need or desire for this license?
So I don't have to stop anywhere else on the way home. No, I'm kidding. It's a need in the community. I mean, it's really to keep the convenience in convenience stores. I mean, it was a joke, but to that point, you want to be able to have one-stop shop. So if you want to fill up, grab a Red Bull or pack of cigarettes and a 6-pack.
I have no further questions for Mr. Grauer. I'd open that up for the authority.
I have a couple of questions. We have drawings on both stores. What are the time limitations on your liquor sales? And if it's the same for both, just that's okay. If there's any differentiation, just let me know.
It is the same for both. We have, in the stores that we currently operate with liquor licenses, we sell and we have posted 8 to midnight,
Okay.
Sunday through Saturday, except Christmas. These stores are 18-hour stores, so they will be closed before midnight.
They'll be closed by midnight?
They will be closed before midnight.
Before midnight.
They close at 11:30, both
Oh,
stores,
okay.
both
Okay.
locations.
Then my next question about locking the doors is moot. I was just going to ask about the cooler doors, but if the store itself is closed, you're saying?
Correct.
Yes, sir, the door is closed, but they will have locks because they will stay locked from when we open at 5:30 till 8 a.m.
Okay. I think those were my two. Any other questions from the authority?
Kind of. Just, let's warm up. What kind of product mix do you see with the beer license, just initially when you start with the 3-2, and then as the year turns over and you can offer a larger differentiation of products?
So currently with our large format stores, we have one beer door dedicated to 3-2. So we already have this planogram that has a mix of domestics. So that'll mimic that. We will eventually kind of integrate more of craft, domestic, and, kind of Mexican beer into it, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And then, do you anticipate your storage area for beer increasing if this is successful and turn of the year sales increase?
No, so our stores are set in size. The storage area will be where all the other water and Coke are, and sodas, CSDs as we call them, will be stored. It's going to be its own dedicated shelf. It's not accessible only by employees. It's going to be one door only out of the 6. There's 6 doors total. We don't plan on growing that because we sell a lot of energy drinks. We sell a lot of water. Soda is a declining category for us, but we have no intention of becoming all 6 doors of beer. We sell too much of all the other stuff.
On your map here, the layout is essentially just a rectangle. You have your sales and cashier area on one side and then coolers on the other end. And alcohol sales is off to one side of the coolers. Where about is the cashier situated? Are they in the center of their cashier area? Are they in line with the alcohol area where they can see who's going in and out of the cooler?
Yes, well, somebody wouldn't be able to, guests or customers will not be able to access the cooler. I mean, they can open up the door, but they're not going to be able to get back in the storage area. If
Oh,
that's what
no,
you're asking.
I mean, like, access the products for purchase.
Yes, they have vision, and there's also mirrors in there as well. So if you gentlemen were the doors, you'd be beer. I'd be the CSR. I'd have clear view of the beer door plus mirrors in the corners.
The only reason I kind of want to understand more is because with gas stations and convenience stores, you have customers of all ages, from 16 up, independently, without supervision, possibly even younger than that. The retail liquor stores, they generally decline service and don't allow anyone under the age of 21 to enter without supervision. So that's why I'm trying to understand the layout a little bit better.
Oh, I understand.
Any other questions? Anything you'd like to close with?
If I can just make a brief closing statement.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Obviously, we're here today asking for two different 3-2 licenses for two different locations. I think we've shown through Ms. Garrettson that there is a need and desire with a very high petitioning in favor of these two licenses issuing. Obviously, the applicant is of good moral character because they have 33 licenses currently and have been shown to be a good moral character through all of those licenses. And as you have the background checks and otherwise through the master file, there's no indication that there is anything other than good moral character. And finally, I think we've shown that these guys are safe operators, they're good operators, they do a good job in the community. I think it'll be a big asset for the community of Littleton. We're asking you to grant those licenses this evening.
All right, thank you. I'm going to take this one at a time. First, I'm going to ask under Resolution 15-218 for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc. doing business as Shell number 147. Is there anyone else here this evening who would like to speak? If not, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing and make a decision. Anyone want to make a motion? You want me to move?
I'll go ahead. I move that the public hearing be closed and that a resolution of the Littleton Licensing Authority be approved which grants Suncor Energy Sales, Inc., DBA Shell number 1478020 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado, a 3.2% beer off-premise liquor license contingent upon approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. One, that notice of the hearing was properly posted and published. 2, that the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood that the license be issued. 5, that existing similar liquor licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, that the applicant is of good moral character, record, and reputation.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Looks to me like everything's in order, and I do think that they have an impressive track record, which speaks to the good moral character in their operation. So I'll be voting in favor. Any other discussion? If not, will the clerk please poll the authority?
Chair Cole,
Yes.
Vice Chair Levere,
Yes.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Yes.
Authority Member Schock,
Yes.
Authority Member Winsack.
Yes.
Congratulations. Next item is 5B, Resolution 16-2018 to approve a liquor license application for Suncor Energy Sales, Inc. doing business as Exxon number 28, 6556 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado. Same question. Is there anyone here present who would like to speak on the matter who has not been able to yet? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion.
I move that the public hearing be closed and the resolution of the Littleton License Authority be approved, which grants Suncor Energy Sales, DBA Exxon number 28, 6556 South Broadway, Littleton, Colorado, a 3-2 beer off-premise license contingent upon approval by the Colorado Liquor Enforcement Division and based upon the following findings of fact. 1, that notice of hearing was properly posted and published. 2, the applicant has possession of the premises and the premises are suitable for the requested license. 3, that the needs of the neighborhood are not now being met. 4, that it is the desire of the adult inhabitants of the neighborhood the license be issued. 5, that existing similar licenses in the designated neighborhood are not adequate. And 6, the applicant is of good moral character, record, and reputation.
I will second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Similarly, I think my same comments apply. Everything looks to be in order. Anything else? Will the clerk please pull the authority?
Chair Cole,
Yes.
Vice Chair Lavere,
Yes.
Authority Member Buchanan,
Yes.
Authority Member Schock,
Yes.
Authority Member Winsack.
Yes.
Motion is approved. Congratulations. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 9A, staff report, which we have in front of us. Is there anything that you all would like to point out? Anything specifically that you all would like to point out?
I would just like to point out that I know we had talked about that we were going to be going to council with the changes to the code. However, the timing of that has changed now because the liquor code in state law is going to be recodified in October 1st, I think is when it comes into effect. And we felt that it didn't make sense to go to council with the substantive changes and then have to go back a few months later with the changes to the code where we reference state statutes. So we've decided to hold off on the code changes until we can do everything at the same time. So we are looking, right now the timeline would be November for first and second read.
Okay. Any questions from the authority?
Would the changes that are going to come about after October 1 impact our recommendations? Like, do we have to meet before? Okay.
I don't believe so. The only changes that we're waiting on is the change in state code to the codification. So they're moving everything to a different title. So it's going from 47 and 48 to 44. So that's the change. So it's not anything that's of substance, just a change in the reference to statute.
Should we proceed with the study session in early October, and then what comes to council at first reading and second reading has the changes for the codification, or do those changes of codification need to go to study session?
Everything will need to go to study session with council as a whole piece, which is why we're waiting. We're told that the codification will take place October 1st. They anticipate having a draft of that to clerks probably mid-September so that we can start working on references in our codes. But it'll become official October 1st. So we will not take it to council until we've made all of those reference changes.
And the timeline and the process, once that starts, will be the same. We'll go to study session with council. They'll say yes or no, we want to move forward with this, and then we'll go to first and second read.
All right. Anything else from the authority? Any questions? Thoughts? All right. I have nothing for item 9C, so we will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.